Welcome to another episode of Living in Tucson, your Tucson real estate connection. And it's that time of the month. The numbers are out for the Tucson Housing Market Report. And I'm going to go over the Tucson Housing Market Report for April 2024. Month over month, the median home values are up once again, which I'm going to cover. I'm going to dive on into what's going on here in the Tucson housing market. Hello, my name's Tyler Ford, Tucson, Arizona with eXp Realty. And again, welcome to another episode of my Tucson Housing Market Report, where each and every month I dive into what's going on here in the Tucson housing market. So whether you're a buyer or a seller, or maybe somebody considering moving to Tucson, this video is for you because it's going to keep you informed on what's going on here in the Tucson housing market so you can make an educated decision. But month over month, the median home sales price for single family homes is up, which I'm going to cover, and inventory levels are starting to creep up slightly, and closed transactions are on the rise as well, which is all good and healthy for this housing market here in Tucson. So let's dive on into what's going on here in Tucson, Arizona. Before I dive into what's going on in the Tucson housing market, I first like to cover mortgage interest rates. And mortgage interest rates have a huge impact on the housing market. And over the last couple of years, the Feds got super aggressive in order to try to curb inflation and increased rates. It was the biggest Fed rate hike that we've seen in the history of the U.S. And the Feds just met the other day, May 2nd. Jerome Powell kept rates the same, but his language was more on the dovish side of things, that if they get inflation under control, they could potentially do some rate cuts towards the tail end of 2024. But again, I'm just not seeing that. I think inflation's still a big issue, especially on the wage side of things. And I think a little bit of hawkish language from the Feds, even though they don't raise rates, could actually put some fear in the market, which could actually then get inflation under control. And that's just my opinion. But right now, on a 30-year fixed, rates have moved up a bit. We are sitting at 7.22% on a 30-year fixed, and on a 15-year fixed, we are at 6.47. But again, rates are something to pay attention to because they do have a big impact on the housing market. And if you're a buyer out there or a seller, there's some things you can creatively do. And if you're a buyer out there, you can ask the seller for some concessions in order to do a rate buy down, which would save you a ton of money on your monthly payment and a huge savings over time. If you're a seller out there, you could offer seller concessions, get creative in order to make your property that much more attractive. If your property is sitting on the market, there are some creative things that you can do. So if you're a buyer or seller and want help with some creative things you can do, whether you're buying to get your rate down or a seller to make your property that much more attractive, reach out to us. We would love to help. First number I want to cover is what we call percentage of list. And that is when somebody lists a home in the MLS, what percentage of the list price is a seller getting? And this number is a little deceptive because if somebody does a price reduction, it doesn't take into consideration price reductions. It's based on the final list price in the MLS. But I do like to cover it because it does show a trend, and trends are your friend. But it would be helpful if the Tucson Association put out some type of statistic that said how many homes did a price reduction and by what percent. That would be extremely helpful. But the key here as a seller is pricing your home correctly, running the comps, analyzing the numbers, and pricing your home correctly. Because at the end of the day, overpricing your home as the seller is the detriment to any listing. It'll sit on the market and you'll have to start to do price reductions, and then buyers' perception is what's wrong with this house? Why has it been sitting? Why are they doing price reductions? So as a seller out there, the best thing you can do is price your home correctly, get a lot more demand, and as a result, you could end up getting more for your home. But right now, percentage of list for April 2024 was 98.59%. So if you price your home correctly as a seller, you can anticipate that you're going to get pretty close to your list price. As a buyer out there, look at the comps. If it is priced, know that you might have some competition, and lowballing in this market right now as a buyer, especially if a home's priced right, won't get you that far. So again, percentage of list 98.59% for April 2024. Let's dive on into the next number, DOM, or days on market. And that is when somebody lists the home in the MLS, how long does it take from the time that you list until the time that it goes under contract? Days on market. And as a buyer out there, when looking at homes, look at the comps, because you're going to get average dollar per square foot, and then you're also going to get average days on market. And so if a home's starting to exceed days on market, it typically means the home might be overpriced. If you're a seller out there and you're starting to exceed days on market, again, look at the comps, and usually it's a matter of price. And so right now, the average days on market for a single family home listed in the MLS for April 2024 was 16 days. So again, if you're doing your job in terms of running the comps and pricing your home correctly, you can anticipate that your home should go under contract within 16 days. If you're dramatically starting to exceed days on market, you need to take a look at the comps and evaluate the price. And the same thing goes for buyers out there. Take a look at the comps. And again, if a home is way over days on market, it typically means the home is overpriced. Okay, the number you've been waiting for. What are home values doing here in Tucson, Arizona for April 2024? They're going up. And at the beginning of the year, I made a prediction that home values, the appreciation rate would go somewhat sideways. We'd finish positive, but it would be single digits, anywhere from 6 to 8%. But to this point, I have been proven wrong. Home values are continuing to creep up. It's nothing like it was COVID, where we saw double-digit appreciation year over year for 2 years. Then we went sideways, and now we're starting to creep up slightly once again. So the median home sales price for single-family homes for April 2024 was $397,910, up year over year 12.1%. So for townhomes and condos, the median sales price was $272,000, up year over year 4.6%. So again, home values are still continuing to creep up. And my question is, are we going to see the median home sales price for single family homes over $400,000? Time will tell. But again, I still think I'm going to make a prediction. As we head into July, our market tends to soften a little bit as Tucson heats up, and then we're going to head into the election year. And typically, when we head into an election, people kind of put the brakes on and they don't make decisions until after election. So we'll see if that happens again. Inventory levels are starting to go up, which I'm going to cover next. So there's more inventory out there and more options for buyers, which is a good thing. So again, what's your prediction? How do you think we're going to finish in terms of the median home sales price for single family homes for 2024? Are we going to be double digit, single digit, or will we finish negatively? Time will tell. This next number I'm going to cover is one that I was not covering in the past, but I've recently started to cover it because TAR has now giving us a new report. And on the new report, it does a really good job breaking down average dollar per square foot. So I do like to cover it. It's a number that I look at all the time when I'm running comps or working with clients. And as a buyer or seller, it's something that you should look at as well. Because when you run the comps, you want to look at closed sales based on your search. And if you do a really specific search, neighborhood, type of property, it's going to give you average dollar per square foot closed, and you want to look at closed transactions, and it's going to give you a good idea of what your property should be listed for and or what you could potentially offer a seller. And more importantly, it's what the appraisers are looking at in order to see whether or not a property is going to appraise based on your offer. And if it doesn't, that's a whole nother set of issues I'm not going to talk about here. But again, looking at average dollar per square foot is so important when running comps. But right now, the average dollar per square foot of all homes in the MLS for April 2024 2024 again closed was $243 a square foot. And I mean, this is a huge jump. Pre-COVID, we were well below, we were maybe 160, 170 a square foot. So you can see with home values going up, the average dollar per square foot's gone up as well. But again, buyer or seller, run the comps, look at closed sales, and it's going to give you average dollar per square foot. It's a very useful number. You take the home square footage, multiply it by the average dollar per square foot, and then it's going to give you a comp value in terms of what that home is potentially worth. The last number I'm going to cover is my favorite number. It's Economics 101, supply and demand, and that is home inventory levels. And so over the last couple of years, we saw demand go way up. We saw inventory levels go down, which then we had double-digit appreciation year over year for the last couple of years. But home inventory levels have started to creep up slightly. We're well below where we would need to be in order to see a huge pullback on price. But again, there's more inventory and more options for buyers out there, which is a good thing. So right now, in the MLS for April 2024, all properties, there were 1,893 active listings. And if I break this down by category, there's about 1,504 single-family homes, 294 townhomes and condos, and then 95 manufactured homes and mobile homes, breaking it down. So again, something to take a look at. It's something that I look at on a daily basis. And again, if we see, a lot of people are asking, when are home values going to pull back? And the only way for this to happen is for us to see a huge spike in home inventory levels. And again, although we've started to creep up, they would need to more than double, in my opinion, for us to see a huge softening in this market. So again, it's something that I keep a watch on a daily basis, but we are starting to tick up. So with inflation and with interest rates, you know, we'll see what happens. But again, and as we head into the last 6 months of the year, an election year, if buyers out there are going to sit on the fence, we could see inventory levels continue to go up. So time will tell what happens. But again, inventory levels is a key indicator to determine which way prices are going to go up, down, or sideways. If you're one to want to geek out on the numbers, I would encourage you to head on over to Tucson Homes and Lots. And if you scroll down on the home page, you're going to see a button that says Tucson Monthly Market Update. If you click on that, up comes the blog post that I do each and every month. And then if you scroll towards the bottom here, you're going to see a banner that says Tucson Housing Market Report, the full report. If you click on that, up comes a PDF where you can dive into what's going on here and get some deeper numbers if you really want to dissect the market. But again, just head on over to Tucson Homes and Lots. Well, can you believe we're almost 6 months into the year and we're on the tail end of 2024 in a couple months? But my question to you is, what does your crystal ball say in terms of home appreciation for 2024 in Tucson? Are we going to finish double digits, single digits, or are we going to finish negative for 2024? And again, as we head into the election the last 6 months of the year, we'll see what happens with inventory levels and if people sit on the fence waiting for the election to determine who the next president's going to be. So again, what's your prediction? Get out your crystal ball. Are we going to go up, sideways, or down? And where are we going to finish for 2024? Hey, thanks for watching my Tucson Monthly Market Update. I really appreciate it. If you got any questions or comments, go ahead and comment below. And if you got value out of this video, do me a huge favor and give me an internet high five by liking it. And for more awesome videos about living in Tucson, your Tucson real estate connection, you can subscribe to the channel. And if you hit that bell button, each and every time a video comes out, you're going to be notified. And YouTube right now is going to recommend a video that you might get value out of it. Go ahead and click on that. In the meantime, make it a great day.